Hello, government contractors and future government contractors. Today's real talk, real strategies, real solution is now I've won a contract. So now what? What is the next thing you need to do? So we're going to talk about that. So let's continue. You've been awarded a contract and you're thinking, what is the next thing for me to do? Well, when many people win a contract, or let's just give me as an example, when I win a contract, I'm excited, jumping up and down, calling people and say I won this contract, and first thing they want to know is how much is it? How much did you win? And you can tell them, or you don't have to tell them. The other part is now you start thinking about how you're going to run your administration. And one of the things that you might need to, that you'll need to do is if you have to hire employees, then you got to think about payroll. Then you got to think about compliance. Am I in compliance? And then you think about fringe benefits. If the contract required that you have fringe benefits for if you have employees. And another thing you might want to think about is how you're going to set your administration up. So that's some of the things off the top of your head that you would need to do. So the thing is, don't go into a contract and you don't have any way of funding your business. A lot of small businesses do that. They'll get a contract and then they'll start thinking, how am I going to fund it? And, the contract may start within 2 weeks. It may start within a month, which gives you a little time to try to find how you're going to fund it. But I would always have all of that in place so that when you win a contract, you won't have to sit there and wonder, like, where am I going to get the money from? Because that's a bad thing to do. And if they find out that you're not ready, they will move on to the next. Because usually when they award a contract, it's usually a few people. And they'll say, you were number one, and number one could not get it together, meaning you could not get it together. You couldn't get your payroll all ready. You didn't get your compliance ready. You didn't get your administration set up. And you couldn't even come up with the fringe benefits. How you going to take care of that? So they would just, when they find out that you're discombobulated, they'll say, oh, okay, well, let's talk to another company. And then they'll call you back and say, we got somebody else who's ready to go. So you don't want that to happen. So before that happens, you want to make sure you get everything all in order so that if you get surprised and win, you can relax and say, I got this. I got the payroll. I'm in compliance, and everything. I got everything I need. So I'm ready to go. So that's one thing that you want to make sure you do. And then if you have to hire employees, that's the next thing. Usually, in my case, since I do staffing, I usually start looking at resumes prior to, just in case we win. And then I have a selection of people that I can refer to once I have been awarded the contract. So if your contract requires that you hire people, make sure you start looking at people, because when you write the contract, and you're going to have employees, you need to start looking just in case you win, and you already have a list of people that you can call upon, start interviewing right away once you win the contract. So I'm just giving you some tips to be prepared when you win, because that's where you're going to be. You need to be there. You need to have everything in place. So there you go. Next, you want to make sure that before you start the process of doing the contract, there's going to be some more paperwork that you're going to have to sign. So at that time, it would be good if you ask questions if you don't understand everything in the contract that you're going to be signing. You want to make sure you understand. Some of that stuff will be in the solicitation, but when you're actually been awarded the contract, you want to make sure you read it and make sure it's what you want, it's what you can do, so you don't have any issues later on. So make sure that when you're ready to sign on the dotted line, you know exactly what you're getting. And it's a perfectly good time to ask questions if you don't know. Okay? You don't want to get there and then say, you know what? We didn't even ask. We didn't even ask this question. So now what do we do? You know, what do you do? So, and then you start, you know, once you start saying, you sign in and you say everything looks good to me, now it's really on, you're really on the ball. You'll have to start getting your payroll ready. I mean, start interviewing employees, get your payroll ready as far as who you're going to have to do your payroll, who's going to do your, if your contract states that you have to have fringe benefits, meaning health care and so on. So there's a lot of things that you got to put in place, and you've got to be ready. You can't sit there and go, duh, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? You got to be ready when that stuff come a-calling. And not all contracts require that you have to do fringe benefits, but say it's a service contract, and if people have to come in every day for 365 days a year, 52 weeks, and you have to make sure that you set up a payroll schedule. You should have all of that in your mind already when you're going to pay them, weekly or every 2 weeks. And you also want to make sure that you have talked to people on the outside. For example, if you are required to carry fringe benefits, you got to make sure you talk to health people, insurance people prior to that, because even if you don't win, you can just call them up and say, we didn't win. But you've already made the communication to have that on board just in case you do win. And so when that happens, you need to find a company that's going to do your payroll, because you can do it in-house. That means that if that's on your if that's on the contract that you are going to do, you can, and they say you can set up an accounting, you know, you can have some accountant and stuff like that. You can do it in-house. But if it's not, and you have to contract it out, you just make sure you know some companies that you want to do business with for your accounting. So let's just put that out there. And then, of course, when you're doing the accounting, you got to keep track of everything, because they will come a looking based on the amount of the contract. So if it's a small contract, most of the time they don't bother. But if it's millions and millions of dollars, it's going to be something that they're going to want to see you making sure you're keeping good records. So if you don't have any qualified people in your business when you win the contract who can do your accounting, payroll, and stuff like that, sub it out. Get somebody else to do it. And they can take care of it. They will pay you, get your quarterlies and all that stuff. So you don't have to worry about that, because that's what I did. That kind of stuff, I contract it out, because I'm not going to sit there and start thinking, I got to do this stuff quarterly. I got to write these reports. I don't want to do that. So I give it to somebody, to another firm that's capable. That's what they do all day long. So they're not going to mind doing this stuff. I just don't want to do it. I want it taken care of. And then what happens is they just notify me and that I have it, and all I do is download it if I need it. My reports and everything are ready. I don't even have to look for anything. It's all ready. It's done. I download it into my system, so when I have to report some information, if I'm doing something, I have it. So it's just how you want to set up your administration is the thing that you need to decide what you want to do. And so the best thing to do is start thinking about that just in case you win. And So you'll have it in place, or have something, a plan of action in place. So you don't get too startled and start thinking, oh, what am I going to do? I mean, I've seen it happen. So many small businesses don't believe they may win, and then they're caught off guard, and then they move on to another contractor who is more ready than they are. It happens. I've seen it happen. I've not been in that situation. I've always been ready. And that's what I want for you, future contractors, is to be ready. Okay. Let's see. So when you set up your inside things, you also want to let accounting know when you're going to do payroll, when the people got to, put timesheets and all that stuff in, so that you are able to meet the payroll for your people. And when we talk about payroll, you want to make sure that you have some type of money so that you can meet payroll. Don't wait until the last minute. Get everything set up. You can just tell the people that's going to loan you the money, well, we didn't win, but we're going to keep you on board just in case we win something else. Okay? So I've just seen so many businesses fail when they are not prepared to do what they need to do. And so basically, that's what I'm saying. Let's see. And so, of course, accounting, if you have people on site, accounting will keep track of everything. But in my case, I let another outside firm take care of everything, and I run reports. I just click a button and the reports are there. Now, you don't want to get into a situation where your employees say it's time for payroll and you can't meet it. Let me tell you, that's a no-no. And you don't want your client, which is the government, you don't even want them to know a thing that has happened. You don't want to know that, because people talk, and when people talk, it gets back to some people that you may not want to know. That's what's going on in your business. So you want to make sure that you can meet payroll. So you have to decide whether or not you want to do payroll weekly, or whether you want to do payroll every 2 weeks. And if things come up, you want to make sure you address the issue, whatever it is, address the issue. And one of the things you want to do is continue to build a relationship with your client, so they'll know you and like you and trust you, so that, sometimes they may have something else for you and they can give it to you, sort of. Yeah. They do that kind of stuff. I ain't gonna tell you how, but they do. So, I mean, what I'm saying is, yeah, you may have to bid again, but if they like what you've been doing, they may give it back to you. It just depends on what it is, as far as what type of contract it is, and if they can do it without any outsiders protesting and all that good stuff. Okay. And that's what they'll do. Sometimes they'll give you another project. They may send it out for bid, or they may not. I don't, But that's that's a good thing. Now, the other thing before I get ready to go is you want to make sure that you don't just sit on one and be happy. You got to continue to move forward. You want to have at least three or four, maybe up to 5 that you can handle. Maybe 3 to start off with, and then add 2 more once you're really a big shot and you know what you're doing. You got it going on. You can meet your payroll. You can meet all the taxes and everything that's required. So you still have to continue to look and win contracts. Just don't settle for one, because if something happens, that one is gone. You are out of business unless you have some other stuff going on the side. But you want to make sure you continue to win more contracts. And that's what you need to do. Once you win that one, you get it all set up and it's nice and running, then start focusing on some more. Assign someone in your business so that they can start working on finding some more work for you. I'd be so proud if you're one of my people. I would be so proud. Because I'm going to make sure that you have everything you need. Now, I can say and help you get everything you need, but that doesn't mean you're going to do it. It just depends. But if you want to be ready like I was ready, never missed a beat. Never. Because I was ready. And that's what I want for you, to be ready. I look forward to you getting your first contract, and we helped you. Yeah. So, anyway, like I said, we are starting our program, which is the Government Launchpad. That's our full course. In the next month or two, we will have a mini course. That's like a refresher. And then we're also going to have a la carte. So there might be some stuff you don't need to take the whole program. You just need to take it a la carte. So I'm excited that we're going to do that and help people out, because some people have come to me and said, well, I don't need the whole thing. I just need this. I need that. And I said, okay, we'll see what we can do. We want to help the community. We want to help you. So I hope you understand. After you win the contract, make sure you do payroll. Make sure you set up your administration. Make sure you have an accounting system that's ready to go. Make sure you continue to look for contracts while you have won that one. Let's see what else. I hope I didn't miss anything else that you would need to be ready to go. Make sure you have your insurances in place. You don't want that getting a bunch of penalties for something that who's ever doing your payroll should be doing. So I just want to make sure you're ready. All right, so that will end Real Talk, Real Strategies, Real Solutions. And now I won a contract. So now what? And so now I've given you, so now what? So hope you take that information and do what you need to do to keep that contract. Because most contracts, let me say, most state may be 3 years, but sometimes I have a state contract and it's 5 years. Some may be 3 years, some may be 5 years. It was 3 years, years ago. So I think most of the contracts are 5 years now, because it takes money and time and effort to keep putting that stuff together. So 5 years give them chance to continue to push out more contracts. So hopefully the contracts that you get are at least 3 to 5 years, mainly 5, because I like them when they're 5, because you don't have to chase any clients. You have money coming in for 5 years if you do it right, if you build it right. And it gives you chance to focus on more other contracts that you've been dying to get to. So, here we are. So, Real Talk, Real Strategies, Real Solutions. Make sure you subscribe and like our YouTube channel. Pressing, because YouTube sent me something, so keep the good work up. And so in order for that to happen, I got to have your feedback. I look forward to, hopefully you'll be able to come through one of my programs. And if you don't need any programs, you need us to work with you on getting yourself ready. Now, here's the thing. If we see that you're not really ready, we're going to put my name to it. We got to get you ready. Even if you think you know what you're doing, you have to get you ready if you want our help. Okay? All right. So we'll talk to you soon. And bye-bye.